What is going on, guys? Seed here with another FIFA 23 video, and welcome to the RTG on this channel. So guys, Monday, March 6th, 89 rated John Stones is upgraded. Guys, yeah, he's upgraded to an 89. That's what I mean to say, but guys, look at the stats on this card. The only thing that looks a little sketchy still is the work rates. It's a high card, and that's not really my preference. I know some people like playing with high highs. I'm just not one of those. But I did that was the only showdown card I did last week while I was sick, while we were climbing up in rivals, right? Which is what we are going to continue doing right now. And I'm starting John Stones with Desai. But guys, I feel a lot better today. Still a little under the weather. Nothing's still staying down, but in terms of like energy levels, it's much better, right? I'm running on Gatorades, right? But guys, we're cutting straight to the chase here, guys. We are playing 4 matches in this video with the upgraded John Stones, and it should be a doozy for you guys to witness. Yeah. So what you're gonna see is the first match that we get into, and we are climbing in Division 2, and we haven't prioritized the climb up until now, right? We've been all over the place in terms of like squad building and menu grinding throughout the seasons, plural, right? Or the total FIFA 23 experience, right? We've been prioritizing different things, but if you have been following the channel in the past couple of videos, I did state that we are prioritizing the climb, right? Because I have a team that I feel comfortable enough with, even though we didn't pull a Team of the Year card, right? So that's just a catch up for you guys, right? And in my back line, I was using Maldini as my left back, Sergio Ramos, flashback Sergio Ramos, Desai, and Trippier, right? Solid enough back line, right? But because John Stones was upgraded, we have today's video, right? And as you see, we've made it 2-0 as we are continuing that climb in rivals where we left off in the previous video. So if you saw the previous video, there has been no, like, there's literally nothing that went on between these two videos, right? Literally just got up today, logged in very early in the morning, and churned out 4 matches, and these are the 4 matches you're seeing. Technically, I churned out 5 matches, right? But my opponent in the actual fourth match, the asterisk 4th match, right? He just raged like towards the ending of the match. He was winning the match, right? But then I was on the comeback, right? And then he just said forget it, and he left, right? So he booted, and I just like omitted the video, right? So there's an asterisk on the amount of games that I actually played versus the games that you see in today's video, right? So it's 4 games played, 4 matches in rivals in Division 2, right? We're steadily climbing up the ladder, right? And it's not difficult, right? It's not anything new, right? But what I want to say is that, you know, you are coming across a lot of God squads. You're coming across a lot of God tier sides, a lot of very high tier sides, right? Even if it's not God tier, it's high tier, or it's just high tier players now, right? So Division 2, it feels very similar to Division 3 this season, right? And you do get a mismatch, right? You get a nice like variance of player levels, right? Actual skill levels, right? Sometimes you're getting the actual D2 players, and sometimes you're getting the pro players that are just sitting in D2, right? If that makes any sense to you guys, right? Because they don't prioritize the rivals climbs either, right? But they prioritize foot champs and whatnot, right? So you can instantly tell when you're the actual skill level of the player when you're playing some certain players, right? Just based on how they utilize ball control, right? Utilize ball control, skilling, how clinical they are with their shots, right? The consistency in their shots and defensive, the tackles, etc., etc. So guys, we finish out the first match, right? And John Stones gets a 6.5 rating. He didn't really show up for me, right? Remember, this is the first match. I was using him right before the upgrade as a super sub, but I said, you know what? Let's give him a go. Let's give him a go as a starter, right? Yeah, he didn't really show up too much in the first match, but it was a much more offensive match, right? And as you guys can see, we're still riding that hot streak, right, that I regained, right, in the last video, right? So now we get to the second match, and this is a serious team, and he's got that 89 Valverde in the midfield, right? And that Valverde card shut me down, right? Really did a number on me. And obviously his Di Maria card, that Di Maria card, I always you know, like I kick myself sometimes, right? Because that Di Maria card was offered. It was really dirt cheap, but I wasn't prioritizing that. I was doing like a different SBC at the time, right? So I didn't get the Di Maria done, and I'm kicking myself, right? Because that Di Maria just causes so much trouble, right? To this day, he just causes so much trouble in the box, right? So anytime he gets in the box, right, he just does things like that, right? And it's just right? You hate to see it, right? But it's a great card, right? So it's a cheap beast, right? Excuse me, I got a cough. So yeah, this match was pretty difficult, right? And it's because he compressed the midfield correctly, right? And he was utilizing his midfielders well, right? Because it was essentially 3 midfielders versus 2, and he was really efficient with his attackers up top, right? So yeah, beautiful movements inside the box. My opponent taking nothing away from him. It was a really good wake-up match in Division 2 this morning, right? Really, like, you know, he was on tempo is what I want to say, right? He was at the correct tempo for D2, I want to say, and kind of just woke me up, right? Because I was coasting comfortably, right? Made it 1-1, but then he just kept consistently pushing the pace. He really wanted to win this match, right? And yeah, he made it very difficult for me, and it was just one of those things where the composure of the cards, right? You just gradually feel the cards just not moving the same way after a certain time, right? And then the bounces just went his way, and you want to like scream, but Abdi Pele takes the shot, sinks it in, right? Nothing against my opponent. My opponent really put in the work, right? He really did a number on my back line. And it's 2-1 by the 44th minute in this match. And then he sinks away the 3rd goal. He makes it 3-1, right, shortly after, and with Valverde, right? And basically that Valverde card in the midfield is just one of the beast cards, right? It's one of the beast center mid cards, right? So, yeah, he was able to shut down a lot of my play in the midfield, right? And that's what it came down to, right? So the match did finish 3-1. So we win 1, we lose 1, right? At the start, right? With John Stones, right? Starting in our squad, right? So that's how this morning started. And then I'm just like instantly, you know, because we are testing out John Stones, right? Because why not, right? There's nothing else to do in FIFA right now. We're comfortably, you know, outside of like grinding up to the Ben Yedder, right, and then maybe getting the 87 plus player pick done, you know, you might as well, you know, just test out a different back line, right? So we're pairing, so the pairing between Stones and Desai, what I want to say is that it is more Desai has medium high, right, and John Stones has high. So it's a very active back line. But what I want to say is that the Stones card, even after the upgrade, he still feel it comes down to the work rates, right? He feels very volatile in the back, right? He feels like way overactive, and he's out of position a little too much, right? And then the other thing is that you can feel the lack of physicality. But the one good thing about the card is that the more I've used the card, right, the more comfortable I got with the card, right, and just learn the subtleties of the movements and whatnot based on the dribbling, and you know, just how his physicality is in game, and his height, and how you time the tackles and everything, right? It feels like a card that if you were to start with the card, if you're running a Prem side, a Manchester City hybrid side, any of the hybrid sides that you could think of, right, with that could allow John Stones in your side with full chem, right? That card would actually be a beast, right? Because the pace does make up for the fact that he's high, right? Because if he's out of position, he can track back easy enough, right? He can go forward and track back easy enough. It's 84 pace on the card, right? And it's a good enough card, right? Does the pace feel like that in game? Of course it does, right? So yeah, we get into the 3rd match, and I finally make it 1-0 by the 19th minute, right? Really liking how how I feel progressing in Division 2, right? Division 2 feels pretty much like, you know, like outside of like the one wake up match, right? It feels like a very easy grind. Hold on, my alarm's going off. Yeah. So all the players that I'm using right now, I'm pretty much comfortable with them, right? And I can't wait. I can't wait to see that Player of the Month Ben Yedder added, right? So my opponent, this was a very defensive, like the third match was an insanely defensively sound match, right? I let in nothing in the back line. That's why it's such a boring match, right? It was like 1-0. Played very strategic after that. High tempo, strategic after that wake-up call match, right? The second match was pretty much like a wake-up, right? A wake-up match, right? So the only goal that was scored in the third match was the Bruno Guimaraes goal, right? And that barely was a goal, right? Barely let in, right? So my strikers kind of like took their foot off the gas in that match as well, right? So we're back up 1, right? And that's when we get into the next match, and my opponent just rage quits, right? And he just like forfeits the match, right? I have no clue what that was about. So fourth and final match, right? We are getting into right now, right? And it's against Newtown FC. And let me make sure. This is the match. Yes, it is, with Ronaldo and Eto'o up top. What a team my opponent is running in Division 2. Pretty comfortable, right? All things considered. But this was a really, really fun match, right? This was a much more arcadey match. And this is the match where I kind of felt like, because this is the fourth and final match of the video, but it's the fifth match I played for today, right? Outside of the Rage Quit match, right? So what I want to say about this match is that I got really comfortable with the Stones, right? Stones still letting goals, right? Yes, but I was very, very like I felt like I broke through the learning curve of the card, right? The upgrade to 89, the way the 89 plays, right? Like I made some progress with that card, right? So I understand how he's moving a little better. Obviously, Ronaldo scores first, right? Which could give you the wrong impression, but I'm telling you right now, if I were to start him, somehow be able to start him with my Sergio Ramos, obviously I wouldn't do that, right? Because there's too many high attacking work rate cards, right? If I were to start with two like high rated center back cards, right, and Stones being one of them, and then maybe the other one being Maldini or something like that, right? I would feel pretty comfortable with both of them running, right? Because the cards have their subtleties about them and their nuances, right? So yeah, same thing with the Ramos, right? Obviously, I got to cough again.
So on with the match. 2-1 is the scoreline.
Okay, so yeah. Make it 2-1, right? And then my opponent comes back, makes it 2-2 by the 41st minute, right, with Eto'o. And I kind of took my foot off the gas, right? And didn't expect to take my foot off the gas. I got kind of mad right here. Not really mad, but, you know, like I was like a, you know, fire lit under my butt. But then it amounted to nothing, right? Goalie blocked it. And then he came back and he scored another goal with Eto'o. So he makes it like 3-2 by the 45th minute with Eto'o. Right? So, yeah. So it could give you the wrong impression, right? But it was a really difficult match. It wasn't difficult. It was a fun match, right? It was a high tempo match. It was nothing difficult. It was just like a match you would expect from Division 2 is what I want to say, right? But it was a really fun match, right? Against a really strong team, right? And yeah, that's a team, right? He's got a version of Ronaldo in his side, right? So 3-2, and then I started like switching gears, right? I started like playing a little bit more seriously. Did the cutback, which is like the bread and butter for this formation, right? So Stoichkov makes it 3-3, right? And these matches were played early in the morning, by the way, right? So right now, when you're seeing this, right, while I'm doing the narration, it's probably like 2 o'clock, right? So it is after the content drop for today, which is kind of like nothing, right? Just 78 plus player picks and an out of position player and like an SBC, but you know, we still have work to do, right? We still have a lot of grinding to do in order to get the Ben Yedder in the side, right? I don't know. I may start him, right? But we're getting off topic, right? Because we're supposed to be like giving you guys a fair assessment of how John Stones played, right? So after I conceded the 3 goals in this match, right, I eventually brought it up to 5-3, right? And John Stones let in no goals at this point, right? And this was the match where he put in the most work outside, right? I bring on the way I'm running it for this video. Sergio Ramos comes on as a super sub. Obviously, Sergio Ramos is my starter with Desai for now, right? But the way I'm playing right now, right? Stones is starting with Desai, right? But in this match, Stones put in the most work, right? Like bar none, as a center back, he put in a lot of work, right? Even though 3 goals were let in, he did an astounding amount of work, right? And I do go into player performance at some point, right? We do analyze the final game with John Stones for the video, and you'll see, I guess, his output, right? His overall output, his performance in the game, right? So what we're doing right now, we're just reviewing the goals, right? Because why not, right? I think there's one goal where it's just like a slow motion goal, right? And I think it's like the 4th goal. So yeah, he pressed the play on these 2 goals, right? And does the number with me, does the number on me with Eto, right? And then Stoichkov brings it back, right? It's really that bread and butter cut back. Jorginho, Stoichkov, that combination is tried and true. And this slow motion goal, right? It just felt like the whole of all of the players slowed down and it was just Kylian Mbappe, right? It was just the weirdest thing, right? But made it 4-3 and 5-3 right there, right? So yeah, there you go. There's the recap, right? But obviously we're trying to like get an idea of how 89 Showdown John Stones plays. Well, he plays really, really well. So what do I want to say about the card, right? So we're going to look at the output of the John Stones card. 7.2 in this game, right? Not his best, but look at the standing tackles, right? 75% success rate. He did a lot of work, right? There was a lot of work in this defensive duels 1, right? So many good things about the card. If I were to give you guys a review of the card, I would tell you some of the positives of the card. He's really tall, right? He is a lengthy. I would say he's very agile, great pace, right? His defensive stats are acceptable for this stage in the game, right? 90 defending overall, right? And the only thing that's really, really bad about the card, he doesn't have too many player traits, but the only thing that's really bad about the card is the high work rates, right? So 8.9 is what I want to give the card. Which is nothing new. Every Monday, 78 plus player picks for the most part, or player picks are just dropped, which absolutely helps with the squad building challenges, right? So we have to finish out the Ben Yedder, and if we get up to it, we'll do the 87 plus base or World Cup Heroes player pick pack, right? We'll try to get Captavia, right? Because we've been wanting to get Captavia on the channel for quite some time. So 5 player picks. Can we get anything good? This will help round out the video, right? At the very least. So let's go. First player pick. And it's a bust. Okay. Moving right along. Second player pick. It's out of 3, which is, you know, decent, but so we get an 80 and an 82. Can we get one better? We get an 83. Okay. So all right, at least it's trending upwards, right? So final 2 player picks. Not good. Back down to an 81. Okay, so these 78 plus player picks don't seem to be dishing out. Let's try one more. The final one. Wow, what a bust. What a bust. Okay, fair enough. We've got the Future Stars Academy player picks, which do yield something a little better. But we've only got 9,000 coins remaining. We've got to do the 12th man. We'll do that eventually. But yeah, the 87 plus base or FIFA World Cup Hero player pick. We'll try to get that done eventually. We got 5 more of these before we get a nice like 83 plus pack. But that'll be the video for now, guys. Peace, love, all the blessings to you and yours.